Decrepit old Mitch McConnell just betrayed Donald Trump, MAGA, and the Republican Party. What am I talking about? The Senate just decided to vote for President Trump to retain emergency power to be able to deal with the tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and other countries. Well, 4 Republicans decided President Trump should not have power and authority. One of those was Senate leader Mitch McConnell. Here's what's happening. This decrepit old man who refuses to retire was wheeled in, drooling, barely able to do anything, and they told him how to vote. He then voted against President Trump because he hates him more than he loves his own party that he served for over 5 decades. I'm going to show you some footage. Check it out, and then we'll go through the rest of this news broadcast.
How are you feeling, Leader McConnell? How are you feeling, Leader McConnell?
Why is Mitch McConnell even still serving? This guy needs to go back to Kentucky and retire. Dude, live the rest of your life. Try to rebuild the Republican Party. Do something, but don't be like Dianne Feinstein from California, where they literally rolled her in on her wheelchair, wiped the drool off of her chin, and then told her to vote against Trump. That's exactly what's happening. Now, President Trump believes the opposite of Mitch McConnell. He believes that he can get rid of the IRS, that he can set up an external revenue service, and that if the country sticks with it, we're actually going to be rich. Let's go ahead and listen to what President Trump had to say directly.
From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think, Marco? Good problem? Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different story. They tried to bring back tariffs to save our country, but it was gone. It was gone. It was too late. Nothing could have been done. It took years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time. The ramp system, that's rather intricate, was built because of him, and every time you walk up, you think of him, and he did a great job in many ways, but it lasted long beyond his terms, as you know. But it's not too late any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable, but we're getting smart.
You guys, President Trump is doing everything he can, but he can't carry the Republican Party across the finish line. We've got to get out there. Democrats are still winning in local elections, which is almost more important than a president. But listen to this. Here's why President Trump is trying so hard to make America great again. Did you know that we lost 90,000 factories since Bill Clinton? Over 5 million good-paying mechanical jobs and manufacturing jobs, and that there is a $19 trillion trade deficit. This means money that people owe to America. President Trump is just trying to bring that back. Before I go any further, I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I know this video is a little different than my normal video, but I've got a day that's completely packed, but I didn't want to leave my community without some of the biggest stories. Here's another one that's big. How about this? Mayor Eric Adams of New York. This dude is getting red-pilled. He just read FBI Director Kash Patel's book, Government Gangsters. This dude is now convinced that there is a permanent deep state, that there is a bureaucratic class that will wait out mayors and presidents. It's unbelievable what he has to say now that he has had to deal with the wrath of the deep state, the military-industrial complex, and the global elites that were trying to flood America and ruin our way of life. Listen to what he had to say.
But it is a shot at your political career.
Oh, and
and is it frustrating to not, or do you know who you think it came from? Is Biden aware of this, or is it the people that are underneath Biden? Is it completely separate?
That's a great question. That's a great question. There are a lot of people, and I don't want to sound conspiracy theory, but there's a permanent government. There are people that see presidents and mayors come and go. Their attitudes will wait you out. What book is a great book, man? Everybody should read the book, Kash Patel's Government Gangsters.
Okay.
You should him on the pod.
Yeah, you should read that book, man.
Okay.
Kash breaks this down.
What is he? And is this what
he's now the FBI director?
Of course, we love Kash. Yeah. But is this what people refer to? And I think this word has been used too much, but the deep state or whatever it is.
It's not used too much. It's real, brother.
Oh, really?
It's, brother. Think about it.
Who's part of it? What are there current senators and that kind of stuff, or is it people that we don't even know but they're always existing?
I have never seen anyone do such a good job of defining that deep state. You should have him on.
I would. Tell him to come on.
You should have him on.
We would love it.
The way he's
probably listening right now, right?
The way, because he was in. It's like me talking about what happens in NYPD after 22 years.
Yeah.
Kash was in the DOD. He was in the FBI. He prosecuted terrorists. So he comes with this wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
And the way he breaks it down,
yeah,
it's just unbelievable what this deep state is about and why it's so important for Americans that we cannot have a weaponizing of our prosecutorial powers. Now imagine the Southern District, right? Southern District of New York. That's one of the most powerful U.S. Attorney's office. In their mind, they said, we're sovereign. You know what that means?
What do you mean they said they're sovereign?
That they don't have to answer to anyone.
Oh.
They don't have to answer to the president. They don't have to answer to the U.S. Attorney in Washington, the Attorney General in Washington. They believe they're a sovereign entity. You're not elected. You know what I'm saying? Imagine an entity believing they don't have to answer to anyone but
you
their
have to answer to the people, and ultimately the people that we put in power.
All right, and the last story I wanted to bring to your attention, this one comes from Jesse Waters over on Fox News. Isn't it amazing, now that President Biden is out, many members of the mainstream media are coming out saying the truth, which is that Joe Biden had dementia, that Joe Biden wasn't really running the country, and now Joe Biden realizes he's destroyed his own party and possibly America with it. Let's go ahead and watch this together.
What's left of Biden's legacy is buried in a pile of books written by his old pals in the media. Democrats are leaking all Biden's dirty secrets to reporters. He was even worse than we thought. A new book, Fight, Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House, says Biden hired a makeup artist to make him look younger. He'd get touch-ups before Zoom calls, foreign trips, and briefings. Was he wearing more makeup than Kamala? Like I'm one to talk. Biden also started to not recognize people. He met with Congressman Eric Swalwell and had no idea who he was. Swalwell had to drop little hints like, remember, I debated you on stage during the primary? Fang Fang's boyfriend, remember? But it never should have gotten this bad. One of Biden's friends told the author that Joe's choice to run again was the original sin. They blame Biden's family for not telling him to hang it up. The same book reveals that Kamala desperately begged Biden for his endorsement. After Joe called Kamala to tell her he was going to drop out, she said, quote, "You need to endorse me." Biden wanted to wait a couple days after his exit to announce his endorsement, but Kamala begged, quote, "This is important for your legacy to show that you have absolute faith in your VP." Obama didn't think Kamala should be the candidate. He wanted an open primary. But Biden's early endorsement set the Democrat machine in motion. She was in. Obama was eventually forced to endorse her, but it was completely phony. Kamala's team wanted Obama to do it on video, but Michelle refused to go on camera, so they phoned it in instead. It was all scripted.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh, my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me.
We all know Kamala's not authentic. That's why her campaign crashed and burned. But Biden's press flack says we just didn't have enough time to fully appreciate Kamala's charm.
I mean, I don't know her super well or anything, but I've been around her. She is very engaging. She's obviously brilliant. She's funny. She obviously has this great laugh. People didn't see all of that. Was it possible to see that in 100 days? I don't know.
100 days? We had 4 years to get to know her. That's why she had to strong arm the nomination from Biden. She didn't earn it. The media doubts Kamala can even get elected as governor of her own state.
I think voters are going to be looking for somebody from the outside. And I think that Harris, somebody who's the former vice president, former U.S. senator, former district attorney in San Francisco, how does she sell change? She's got to somehow run against Gavin Newsom's governorship. So I just don't see the path for her.
Kamala thought she could be the pantsuit messiah and could just swap joy in for hope and change.
One of the most dangerous things to me about both how Joe Biden and then Kamala Harris ran was they ran fully in defense of, not in reform of. It is the tolerance of government failure on the left that I actually can't abide. Like, if you are the people who believe government should do things, then make it do things, and when it doesn't, get mad and change it. But just moving on and making excuses and then saying, like, well, what about them? It's not good enough. And the way you know it's not good enough is you're losing, and you're losing people. Democrats only want change when there's a Republican in charge. They're not passionate about anything except following orders.
The worst media training advice, I'm obsessed with this, people give is answer the question you want to answer. That is the freaking worst advice, especially for this moment in time. If you ask them or I ask them, hey, what do you think should be done about Elon Musk, right? And their answer is, we're going to build roads and bridges and defend the Affordable Care Act. People at home are like, what in the hell? Right? It's like almost disrespectful to them.
Voters responded to that disrespect on Election Day. Now Democrats have an empty bench. Maybe they should bring back Obama.
If you were allowed, for some reason, to run for a third term, is there a thought that the Democrats could try to run Barack Obama against you?
I'd love that.
For his third term?
Boy, I'd love that. That would be a good one. I'd like that.
Well, I've been telling my community since the summer of 2020, the summer of love, that the Democrats are ruining the country and that Joe Biden had dementia, and I've absolutely been vindicated and proven right. Now, let me know, what do you think of Mitch McConnell? What do you think of what Mayor Eric Adams had to say? And what do you think about Charlie Kirk's update about all of the lost jobs, lost factories, and lost trade deficit revenue to America? Also, can President Trump really pull it off and make America rich again? Also, lastly, your thoughts on Jesse Waters' update. Why, oh, why did we have a president leading us into World War III, encouraging Ukraine, spending hundreds of billions of dollars, and making America worse? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you on the next video.